the Ask Dr. Renee show. I am your host, Dr. Renee. This show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve. If this is your first time tuning in with us, we've had past guests such as Paul Carrick-Brunson, the Modern Day Hitch, Shanti Das, the hip-hop professional, and of Press Reset Entertainment, Cupid, R&B singer, Dance Party King, and Cupid Shuffle, Felicia Butterfield-Jones of Ween. And tonight we have Ronnie and Lamar Tyler of Black and Married with Kids and New Tyler Media. Welcome to the show, Ronnie and Lamar.
Thank you for having us on.
No problem. So I first became familiar with you guys on Twitter when I saw, I don't know how, but somehow I saw something about Still Standing was coming here, and I said, oh, well, this looks interesting, and I think I saw some people I knew were going to the screening, so I said, oh, I'll go to the screening, and it was great. I loved the movie, and you guys said tweet during the movie, so I tweeted, and it looked like I think I was like one of the only people that tweeted that night. I was like killing it, and I was so mad I didn't get to meet you guys that day, but I was like, this is very interesting, and I really enjoyed the movie, and then I saw that there was other movies. I was like, who are these people? So that's what like piqued my interest, and then I got home and I started, I think I found your Facebook page then, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. So let's start with, how did you guys meet?
Okay.
Yep. So we met through a mutual friend. Lamar was her coworker, and they lived in the D.C. area in Maryland, and I grew up with her. And so when I went to visit her, Lamar was there. She had a get-together at her home, and Lamar was there. So that's how we met. We met through a mutual friend.
And how many years ago was that?
Oh, about almost 12 years, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've been married 10 years, so about 12 years.
Okay. So which came first, the movies or the website?
Definitely was a website. We had started the website in December 2007 in order to promote positive images of marriage in the African American community. Mm-hmm. Around that time, there was a lot of negativity around marriage in general, but even more so in the African American community. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of discussion and talk around the fact that black women should give up hope because they had no hope. You never find a man. There are no black men that are available. ABC, CBS, BET, everybody was doing news specials and going for ratings, and they were getting all the ratings because the next day everybody would be talking about it around the water cooler. So we said, instead of taking this approach, why not highlight the positive examples of marriage, the positive examples of fatherhood in our community? So we launched the site in December 2007, and then in 2009 we said, what can we do to expand the reach of the site and to give more exposure to the brand? And we said, let's do a documentary. We had never done one before. 6 months before that, we didn't even own a home video camera. We had just bought one to do some things on the website. So we got the idea. We did our first documentary, Happily Ever After, and it really just took off from there.
That is really interesting. I mean, first of all, the movie looked like it was, some big, huge production company had put it on. It was wonderful. What number was Still Standing?
It was our fourth documentary. So it was our fourth doc. Really Still Standing in 2012. Actually, we have numbers 5 and 6 releasing later this year. So we're excited about that. And actually, I remember that night. I remember you tweeting. Chicago, for some reason, we don't get like a lot of tweets in Chicago. I don't know what it is. Like Atlanta, DC, Houston, they break out the phones and tweet. Chicago, I guess they just focused on the film in Chicago. So we don't get a lot of tweets, so we definitely noticed.
I don't know. People were looking at me like I was crazy.
Let's put that.
Yeah, people were looking at me when I pulled out my phone and started, and I was like, now, didn't the man say he wanted us to tweet? I need to do it now.
So I don't. So
I was like, after the fact would be pointless. I'm not gonna remember.
We look forward when we'll be back in Chicago.
But I mean, let me tell the.
Hopefully in a few months when we get back into town, everybody
great.
Twitter friendly.
Yes. But I want to tell people, Still Standing was a documentary about different families that had different things that happened in their families, and they are still married, even though they had to deal with these different situations that happened. The one lady had breast cancer. The the one husband was cheating. I mean, it was very interesting. I found it so interesting. But then I left there, and I don't know if you remember, I tweeted and was like, where are the movies for the single people?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we actually hear a lot of from our single audience. So actually, since then, we created a single section on the website, and we created our Relationship Academy, which is a 12-month membership site. We have a track for couples and a track for singles now. So we do listen to the feedback like that, and we've been growing and trying to develop more for our single audience.
Well, we appreciate it, definitely. But so, I mean, if for any indie filmmakers out there, how did you get speech from Arrested Development or in Kindred, the family? So how did you get them in your film, being completely independent?
Yeah, it really was just all relationships. And with Kindred, I mean, we had been talking to them online for a while, and we try to support them and what they do with the music. Long before we asked for anything, or sat down and try to find out what it would take to get them involved, we were already supporting things that they were doing, and we were already, doing some things to jointly uplift marriage and relationships in the African American community, so it wasn't so far of a reach. And with speech, it was the same kind of thing. I met him through someone else. We worked on a project together, and just kind of, got to know a little bit about him. We got to know a little bit about Ronnie and myself and the work that we do. So when it was time, it just was a conversation, seeing if he would be interested or not. In both Fatina and Asia, and then Speech and his wife Yolanda, I think all four of them have hearts for marriages, and have hearts for other couples. So it wasn't a very difficult sell to get them involved in a project that they knew, hey, it was going to be a good quality project. They knew we do our due diligence to reach as many people as possible, and that it would be something that they could take pride in being a part of.
Definitely, and that's something I've tried to reiterate with all the people I mentor, is that that's the way networking works. Try to do something for someone else, and then they might be able to do something for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally right.
Case in point.
Yeah, I mean,
I tweeted all your stuff. I always followed you guys, and then now I write for BMWK. So, it works. You just have to, help people out. And I mean, I thought it was positive information, and like I would like to be married one day. My parents are married, I think it's like 42 years now.
Wow.
And so, I've seen it, and I mean, my grandparents were married for 50 plus years. So I really, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie because it was wonderful how the couples, especially the couple that talked about how they talked about their finances and how they had the family meeting. That was very interesting to me because honestly, those things to me seem like they don't happen in our households, I hate to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was really interesting.
But they're happening more and more. I mean, which is why we do the website, right? So that people can see the positive images, and so people can see what other people are doing to overcome a lot of issues that break most families. But if they knew that there were some steps that they could take or some things that they could do to prevent it, then they would take them. And so that's the whole mission behind our site.
And it's a great site. I mean, it has truly, truly grown. I mean, it blows me away to see how, when I attended your webinar, Lamar, and you talked about, the first year up until where you are now, and it just was amazing to see the growth.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just been a journey, and it's a testament really to talk about consistency and work and due diligence, and even when you grow, the appreciation of people that actually take that journey with you, they have for the process. So a lot of times I think we talk to people and they're so worried about getting from 0 to 100 so fast. But the thing is, if you just do what you're supposed to do, you'll get there. And then the people who actually see that process appreciate it so much more. So even when we come to cities like Chicago, there are people who say, hey, I remember, the first time you came to Chicago in 2010, I was there. Then I came back in 2011, I came back in 2012, and they can see that each time we release a movie, the quality gets better, the production work gets better, the directing gets better, the storytelling gets better, and they appreciate that. And then every time they come, they bring out more people because they know they're part of this community, and they know they helped build it. They know that the money they spent in 2010 on that first movie helped get more equipment and help, staff up and everything for the next film. So, I mean, that's the great thing about working on a grassroots level, is that the people who support you really have a major impact.
Now, what happened that you just decided that you wanted to start, because you could have done a ministry at church, for, Black marriage. So what made you think that a website was the way to start?
I'll answer that. I'll let Ronnie jump in too. I mean, at the time we were talking about it, we were looking at a blog, and we wanted something unfiltered that just was going to touch as many people as possible. And we felt like a website. We put it up. We knew we had a plan to reach couples, here across the United States, but we knew we really could have a global impact one day, which we do now. We knew we wanted to reach as many people as possible. And we knew also that we didn't want to get caught up with sometimes, and I grew up in the church, so I know, I've walked amongst enough church folks to realize that we know we would have couples that come with serious situations. And we didn't need them to get, it's you too blessed to be stressed, or, don't worry about that, because when somebody found out their husband or their wife just cheated on them, they need more than you to just, say something like, you too blessed to be stressed. Now I'm stressed right now. I just found out, this person I've been, living with and giving my life to for the last 10, 15, 20 years, it had intimate relationship with somebody else. Like, I need some answers. So we really just wanted to have open, complete honesty and transparent conversations. Now, since we are Christians, a lot of things we do have our faith, intertwined in them, and you can see our faith in them. But the site is open to, other religions who want to come and get the information. It's open to other ethnicities. Some people think only Black people can read the site. That is our target audience, but it's open to other groups and ethnicities as well. Like I said, we just wanted a place where people could come, have unfiltered, honest conversations, and get the help that they need and begin that process of healing as well.
That is, it's a great idea, and I'm glad you started it, because it is, I think it's like the only one of its kind. There's not many like that on the web.
I mean, definitely initially when we started, there weren't many sites doing what we do, and it's specifically to focus on the African American community. I definitely think that there are not many that really focus on being intentional about wanting to change our community, right? Because we know that strong communities at the foundation would be the families and the marriages within the community. And so that's what we're focusing on and being very intentional about. So you're right, there are not many that really focus on specifically on the African American community.
So did either of you ever have a desire to be movie makers, or that you just really literally felt like that was the next direction to go with your brand?
No, not really. It was just that we started talking around 2009 about how we can get our message out there, and what were some other things that we could do. At the time, we had met a filmmaker, became friends with him, and he had several documentary films out. And we thought, what a great idea. We could do a documentary about marriage. And that's really how it started. And actually, Lamar purchased one of his cameras because he was kind of moving up to another one and looking to purchase more equipment. So Lamar purchased one of his cameras. And at first he thought, maybe we should hire someone to do it. And then we thought it over and thought, you can do it yourself, Lamar. You can, put anything you put your mind to, you can do it. So he just set out to do it, and that's how our first documentary was done. I mean, Lamar got off work in the evenings. He produced it. Set up the interviews. Got off work in the evenings. Did the interviews. Everything. But it was really bootstrap type operation going on there. But we did it, and then the rest was history.
So when did you guys make the move from the East Coast to Atlanta?
We moved to Atlanta in 2010, and it was a very intentional move. I mean, Lamar always wanted to move to Atlanta, but I thought that we both thought that the environment was very conducive to being entrepreneurs. Even from just a networking perspective, we had a lot of people down here that were doing the same things that we were doing, and then also just from financial everything. kind of put our heads together, put together a budget, and decided, we're going to focus on moving to Atlanta. And it was a really great move for us and the family, and for our business as well.
So how many kids do you guys have?
We have 4 kids, so we have a blended family. Our oldest son is 21, and then we have a 13-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And the 3 youngest are girls.
Oh, sounds like fun. But so how can you speak to those working mothers that, and I mean, well, first of all, when did you all stop your full-time jobs to work on this full-time?
Lamar stopped in 2010, right? Mm-hmm. He stopped in 2010, and I was more like 2013 when I stopped. And so what was the question about working mom?
So how do you do it? How can you, work this, job that literally does take you from city to city across the country at some times and still raise a family?
Okay, so I can't lie. I have a secret weapon, which is Lamar's mother. She helps us out a lot. So that's an unfair advantage, but I do have it. When we decided to move, she came with us because our travel had picked up. And that has been a blessing ever since. She was only supposed to come for 1 year. She rented out her house and put everything in storage, and she's been here since 2010. So it's been working out great. I should write a book on that, right? Having mother-in-law live with you, and it's working out. It has worked out great. So yeah, that's an unfair secret weapon, but she does help us out, and it's been very good. The next thing I think, and I just wrote about this also, is the more you can establish routines, the more it can cut down on the chaos at home, right? So when everybody knows what to expect, the kids know what they should be doing, the kids are helping out at home, it really helps, especially when the parents are busy. So when you don't have time to focus, things are still running and operating. So it's good. Our kids know that when they get off the bus, it's snack time, and then it's homework time. You don't turn the TV on. Then they read, and then they can watch television or do whatever else they need to do in the evenings. But they know that routine, and they have it down every day. And that doesn't change whether or not we're here or somebody else is babysitting, or whatever. They know when to do their chores and things of that nature. And so that helps a lot. The third thing is, I would say, forget this whole idea of balance. I'm glad you didn't ask me, well, how do you find balance? You didn't ask that question, but a lot of people just assume that everything's so balanced, you just have it all together. And it's not necessarily going to be equally balanced all the time. We are running a business. We are trying to build it. We are trying to leave a legacy here. And so sometimes we do have to work, extended hours and things of that nature. And then, so sometimes, it's more on the business. Sometimes it's less on the marriage, less on the kids, but not too much. You don't want to get, out of whack too much. And then it's about being intentional. And so, regardless of what we're doing, we're trying to make sure that we're feeding our kids every night, and that we're intentional at least 2 to 3 or 4 hours in the evening. When we get off work, it's time for the kids, and then at 9 or 10 o'clock we go back to work. And we're intentional about making sure that our marriage works, and so we'll definitely do things for ourselves, the date nights, the marriage conferences, the retreats, and things of that nature. So it's just about being intentional.
Yes, I've had several guests that have talked about there is no balance. And
right.
you have to, I had one guest that said she schedules her time. She schedules her time for work, schedules her time with her family, with friends. She actually puts it on the calendar. So then it actually happens. And I religiously say that if it's not on my calendar, I don't necessarily have to do it. So it's the things that get on the calendar, that's the things I show up for, and that's where I've actually given my time. So right. I do understand that to a degree. So you have 4 kids, you guys work together all day. How does that work with you guys working together all day?
I think it's just trying to balance out, our business and then personal lives. Also, it's a level of respect. We have some rules we talk about because we meet a lot of couples, and when we meet couples that are in business, one of the first things they want to know is how do we work together, how do we spend so much time together. So there are like a few things that go into that. One is what we call COC, or couples, CCOC, couples code of conduct. And what that is saying that we have a certain level of respect for each other, whether that's in the home or in the office, and things we will do and we won't do, things we will say and we won't say, and we have an understanding of what those things are. And that's just come from communication and knowing each other, and then having a certain level of respect for each other as well. Like I said, whether we're at home or whether we're in the office. Mm-hmm. And also working with each other, a key component of that is really recognizing what each person brings to the table. And then once you recognize those things, having the trust that they'll do what they say they're going to do, and they'll do what they're supposed to do. And then also having on your end, if I'm required, I'm supposed to do these things, knowing that I have to make sure I get those things done, because, not just my business partner, but my spouse is dependent on me for these things. And like Ronnie said, I need to be accountable for them.
Right. I mean, I think another thing is that you need to work on your marriage, because I think that's the foundation. And so if your marriage is rocky, if you don't trust your husband, if there's jealousy, if there are communication problems, if there's disrespect, it's going to spill over into the work life. I mean, on a normal circumstance, you're not going to go into business with somebody that you don't trust, or someone that you can't stand, and things of that nature. And so at its most basic foundation, you need to work on your marriage and make sure that that is strong if you're going to go into business with each other. And then another thing is to be formal with each other. And with your business. It is a business, so have meetings, be accountable, have plans, goals, work on your finances and things of that nature. And I think a lot of people that are entrepreneurs are not doing that. They're not having, meetings, setting goals, working on their finances and things of that nature. And so if it's a business, then, work on it as if it's a business. And so that's one of our major tips that we give to people.
Make sure it's a business and not a hobby.
Right.
So what is your advice, and I know you've spoke of it before, Lamar, what's your advice for people that would like to leave their daytime jobs to work something else as a full-time job?
I mean, sure, yeah. One of the main things I say is just realize that the path won't be easy. And I think I talk to so many people who think there's an easy way out. What I always like to say is like the rat race is not designed for you to exit it. So you have to realize that at some point you'll most likely have to work 2 full-time jobs. Your main hustle and your side hustle, until you can make that side thing that you do, the thing that you're passionate about, what really can provide income for you and resources and support you and your family over the long haul. And while that balance shifts and while you tip those kind of scales, most of the people I talk to are not in a position just to say, hey, I'm leaving my job. I can live off of whatever I have saved up for 2 or 3 years until this thing takes off. I mean, they need to gradually make that shift. So like I said, the toughest time probably is right around the time when you actually can make the shift. Because at that point, that's when your business will probably be bigger than it's ever been. And that's when your job will probably be more demanding than it's ever been, because you won't be putting all of your attention into that 9 to 5. And, just knowing that you have to persevere, you have to press through. Nothing's easy. People say, when is the right time to leave? Great piece of advice I got when I was wanting those same things from a guy. He told me there never will be a right time, Lamar. All you can do is plan, create a vision, and try to work that plan as best you can. But at some point, you have to take that step.
Definitely, definitely. Especially if you would like to live the life you deserve and to follow your passion. And it's possible. It's never too late. I don't know if you saw, Paul posted a picture and showed the age that people have lived out their dreams, and it was actually quite later in life. So there's never too late. I want to talk about your book, The Gatekeepers Are Gone. This book is so good, and I have referenced it so many times with people that are much younger than me, which blows me away, because I think that that's the generation that should know you can get on Twitter and find whatever you're looking for or Google. But this book it's just amazing. What made you write this book? Because some people would want to share these secrets.
Yeah, sure. The book really is a lot of things we've just learned over the years, and it's a lot of the questions that we get on a regular basis about, how can you build a blog? How do you build an audience? How did you get a Facebook page that's so large? I mean, now a Facebook page is should be crossing actually this week over 450,000 Facebook fans. So like all these kind of questions that we get about books, about films, about the blog, we kind of wrapped it up, and I put it just into that book, The Gatekeepers Are Gone. And it's really a philosophy that I've been talking about over the last few years, that we're living in a exciting time, in a time unlike anything that business has ever seen, where for the first time we can connect directly with consumers and with our customers. And there's always before been a middleman somewhere in that process. And the middleman is the one who reaped the profits, who took advantage of the fact that you couldn't get your product to market because you needed funding. They took advantage of the fact that you may have a great idea for a movie or a TV show, but you couldn't get distribution. So without distribution, you couldn't reach the audience. Or you may have been an amazing singer. I always ask people, I'll go into a room or when I'm speaking somewhere and say, by show of hands, how many of you know someone that was an amazing singer at your church or at the barbershop, at the hair salon, in your neighborhood, and they could just sing better than anybody on the radio? And everybody raises their hands because they knew somebody like that. Well, before, that person had to go through, first they had to get a demo made, which cost money. Then he had to take that demo and go to New York or L.A. because that's where all the record labels were at. And then they had to get it into the hands of an A&R person. And a lot of times that A&R person wouldn't even listen. It would be the A&R person's intern or something who knows nothing about music. Then they have to okay it to get it to the A&R person. Then the A&R person had to send it up the chain. But now all of that's been removed due to the lowering cost of technology and the rise of social media. So now I spoke at a high school in Southwest Atlanta. It was a room full of all young African-American men. So I said, if you want to create music now, where do you create it at? Do you go to the studio? He said, no, you create it at home, you create it in your bedroom. I said, what do you use? They said, you do it on your laptop. I said, okay, so once you made that song on your laptop, like where do you have to go? Because before you had to go to New York, you had to go to LA to get in front of those labels. They said, you just upload it on YouTube. I mean, the entire industry, and not just industry, like industries, pretty much across the board has been shifted because now you can talk directly to the consumer. So I just want people to take advantage of that fact that the gatekeepers are gone, and also know that the fact that the gatekeepers don't like being removed from the equation. Mm-hmm. They don't like the fact that all that money is missing. So, you can't just assume that things will be like this forever, that there aren't people lobbying somewhere because they want legislation passed that will not allow you to do things that we're doing now. So while we're in this wild, wild west stage of the internet still, because the internet is still relatively young, we need to take advantage of it for our businesses so that we can do what you talked about earlier, right? Follow our passions, live out our dreams. Ronnie and I always talk about our 3 Ps. We followed our passion, we found our purpose, and created a profit. And the profit portion is extremely important because that's what allows you to sustain your passion and your purpose. And a lot of times, if you don't have the profit, then that's when you have to work a 9 to 5. And that's when you can't really do the things you dream about and the things you would love to do because you can't sustain yourself otherwise.
Definitely. The gatekeepers are gone. I've tried to explain to people. People ask me all the time, well, how did you? I said, I found them on Twitter, and I tweeted them. And they're like, well, they responded to you? I said, you'd be amazed how many people would actually respond to you if you come to them intelligently and say something. And, I was speaking to a very young lady, and I told her, I said, if you tweet this young woman, she probably would respond, but we won't know if you never do it. Mm-hmm. So you have nothing to lose. You send a tweet, you have nothing to lose.
No.
It doesn't cost you anything. It's nothing.
It's easy. I mean, that's what I talk about. The time we're living in is so easy. And I referenced that like 15 years ago, 10 years ago even. If you wanted to reach out to a CEO or there was someone or even a celebrity or someone that you admired and you want to know what path they took, hopefully they had a book. If they didn't have a book out, you may not be able to find those things out. Maybe they might do something in your local paper if that person was in town, or they might be on the news. But, I mean, that was a 2 or 3 minute segment. Now, anything you want to know about anyone is pretty much at your fingertips reach on Google. And you can follow them on Twitter. You can find out how they're living or what they're doing on Instagram. You connect with them on Facebook. And all these different ways. I always say that the breadcrumbs to success are laying all around us now in this digital age. And you can pretty much follow the path of anyone that you want to follow. You can, watch interviews like this. You can listen to podcasts. I mean, there's so much information at our fingertips. Are we really taking advantage of it is the question.
Exactly. Are we taking advantage of it? So do you? I mean, do you mentor any young? Like you went to this high school. Do you mentor young kids? Do you mentor anyone?
Yeah, actually, I have a mentorship program. Actually, structured because I get a lot of people to come and asking for mentorship and things. So actually, I have a mentorship program that I structured where I actually work with 3 entrepreneurs at a time, and it's like a 1-year program. And I've been working with these 3 now. 3 I have been working about 6 months time. And it's just so really I can focus on them, because if I say I'm going to mentor them, they deserve to actually have my attention, and not just say I'm a mentor you, but you can't catch me, you can't get up with me. So for this 1-year period, I'm dedicated to them. We meet on a regular basis as a group, and then we meet individually as well. And we just kind of I pour into them, they pour into me. I let them pour into each other and support each other as a community, so that hopefully at the end of this 12-month period, they'll be off to launching their own successful ventures, and then building their own communities and employing other people and doing just amazing things in their own right.
Real quickly, I forgot to tell everyone, what did you guys do before you did this? What were your jobs, so people understand your backgrounds?
So we both were in IT. I was a project manager for IBM for about 17 years, and then Lamar worked in IT. He was the IT manager at a Fox 5 station in the DC area for about 5 years, and before that he worked basically for himself as a contractor and worked in various IT jobs.
Yeah. And I did also want to make sure I mentioned too, before we get off the book all the way, that for your viewers, they actually can get a free copy if they go to www.lamartyler.com, LamarTyler.com. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling, and we'll ship you a free copy of the book, because we really want to get it into the hands of as many people as possible. Because we think if you take hold of this information, that you really can change your life and change your situation.
And the book it's a quick read, and it's very informative. A lot of the stuff I already knew, but I wanted to support you, so I got the book. But I've been preaching a lot of this information for a while in different social media talks that I've given, because some people that don't understand the way Twitter works, they don't understand the benefits of Facebook, now Google+. And so this explains the benefits and why and how it actually does work. If you work it, it will work. And if you're not sitting there talking about, I'm going to the bathroom, I went to the movies, if you actually, if you're actually business savvy about who you follow and what you say, it can work for you and not against you. I did a lecture for some high schoolers, and I had to advise them, don't let this work against you and somebody find it years down the line and you can't get a job because of something you said or posted. So you need to definitely be careful and understand that people are watching. You never know who's watching, but people are watching.
Right.
So what's a day in the life of the Tylers?
I'll let you do that.
Okay, so our day starts with basically getting our kids ready. So we get up around 6 and start to get dressed ourselves. Then we get our kids up at 6:30 and off to the bus by 7:20 a.m. Then we go into the office. We have an office where we have 2 employees that are in the office with us. And so we go into the office. We get there between 7:50, 8 a.m. in the morning. And we stay until about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And so during the day, we focus on just a variety of different things while we're in the office. We have a morning meeting. We talk about blackandmarriedwithkids.com in the morning because that is our foundation. That's our base. We want to talk about analytics. We want to talk about the editorial content, the plans for the week and things of that nature. And then we move into talking about our projects and different things that we have going on. And then we split things up. So Lamar focuses a lot on our marketing. And I focus on product creation and things of that nature. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, then we come home. We work on homework. We cook dinner, things of that nature. And then sometimes we have webinars or interviews, things like that in the evenings. Or we're just catching up on emails or getting work done on our to-do list, after that 9 p.m. So it kind of starts again between 9 and 12 in the evenings. And that's pretty much it until we do it again the next day. Sometimes we don't work in the evening. Sometimes we catch up on shows. We have stuff on the DVR a lot, and we have some favorite shows, and we just watch them together. So that's our kind of relaxing moment. So.
Well, it sounds fabulous because you do what you want to do in the day, and you're doing it for yourselves. So that's the best part of it. We have some questions coming in. And we all say thank God for net neutrality and protecting a free and open internet. Thank you, Fly Media Productions. Agreed, just tweeted them, is excellent advice. We've experienced that as well. Interviewing MC Light to appear on our business website a few years ago was a highlight for us.
Yeah.
Great. What area of IT did you both specialize in? I'm in technology as well, and my ears are always perked up when I hear fellow technologists talk.
Okay, so I was in software development. So, I would work for IBM, and I worked internal, so on their internal IT systems. And so we developed software, and I was a project manager. So I didn't do any coding and things of that nature, but I managed software development projects.
Yeah, and I managed the IT department, and my background was more like in LAN, WAN architecture, networks, things like that.
Okay. You obviously are partners in life and partners in business. Are you always on the same page with your goals, or do you have to convince each other the next steps in your master plan?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Lamar has to convince me all the time. Yeah, he's more of a risk taker. I mean, those are our strengths, right? I'm more of the planner, more conservative. He's more of the let's try this, the risk taker and things of that nature. So it's good that we balance each other out. And we consult each other before we make moves, and we make sure that it's the right move for the company. And so, yeah, we do have to convince each other, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. What did you both do career-wise before transitioning to website entertainment? We did answer that. What was that transition like for you both? Did you both make the leap simultaneously? No, staggered yourselves. Okay, so what was the transition like when you did finally leave?
Yeah, it was, for one, we talked about it and we had a plan. So the first thing we did for either one of us left, we actually got rid of debt. So that's something we don't hear people really talk about enough in this situation, because it's a lot easier to be an entrepreneur if you don't have a ton of bills, hanging over your head because you ran up the credit card buying fly suits and fly dresses and the big handbags, because every entrepreneur needs that, right? When you walk into the networking meeting, you gotta fake it till you make it and look like $1 million till you got $1 million, right? So we got rid of all the debt. We got rid of our car notes. So just to make it easier to live off of less money than we were making, because we both had very successful six-figure positions. So immediately when we left, the company wasn't making that type of money, and we weren't paying ourselves the type of money. A lot of the money the company made, we reinvested right back into the business. So first thing we did was get rid of that debt. Then when I left, we had a calculated plan. So I left in a time that it was just me doing the business full time, and Ronnie was still working her 9 to 5. I worked the business up and got the revenue up and built the business to a level with Ronnie's help where it could sustain both of us in full time capacity. So then once we did that, Ronnie came on board. And something else you have to understand is that everybody won't see your vision. Everybody won't understand what's going on, what your plan is, what your understanding is. I had people accusing me of being lazy and I'm living off Ronnie, even though, we were on TV, we were in the newspaper, so you would say, well, if anybody paying attention could see the business was growing and see the success, and they would come out to the screenings, and you come out to a movie screening, and, we came to Chicago, 350 people, plus in the movie, there's people sitting on the steps. Selling product outside. We actually got a 2-week theatrical run in Chicago. So the signs of success were around, but there were still people who wanted to promote negativity around us. So don't think that everybody will necessarily applaud you and commend you, but just know that you have to have a plan, you have to have a vision, and you have to work that vision.
Definitely. And it's you just have to, basically, you just kind of have to just tune them out. And just, if you know this is what you want to do, you have to just keep working it, because you see the progress, you know what you're doing, and you just got to keep going.
Exactly. And I say, once you get successful enough, everybody come back around anyway. And then the haters will be your biggest cheerleaders, and they'll be the ones telling everybody, hey, that's my cousin, that's that's my friend, we went to high school together, or whatever it is, right? and then they'll be your biggest supporter. So I always say success. Success is the biggest thing that can turn anybody's mind around. So, you know, just keep grinding. Use that as motivation to keep grinding, keep reaching your goals.
And what do you guys define as success? I've been asking everyone that.
What do we define as success? I mean, definitely, I think making an impact. And I really feel that, you know, we are making an impact on our community and on our families. What I find as success, definitely being able to operate our business. I mean, not every business is able to stay afloat and to be able to sustain our family. You know, we have 4 kids and things of that nature. So I definitely think it's successful anytime that we don't have to go back and work corporate, and we're able to build and to support our families and to help people in the process of doing that. So I definitely define that as success, but also the fact that we keep growing. So every year we keep growing. We have goals, and we're reaching those goals, and we continue to grow. And so we don't want to be complacent. We don't want that to be stagnant. And so I definitely think that that's one measure of success as well for us.
Yeah, and I just would say, to me, success is defined around the legacy that you leave. So I think that's what we're always pushing to do, is leave a legacy, and a legacy for our family and our children, a legacy of wealth, a legacy of what a happy, healthy marriage looks like in front of them, so they know and they don't have any observations around what marriage should be or what it shouldn't be. And then also a legacy for our community and for the work that we put out on the other marriages that we help and assist with, and the singles that we provide hope for and education for at the same time as they work towards being married one day. And then just as we do all of that, I mean, my proudest moment of last year was not about how much money we made. It was about how much money we actually paid out to people that work for us, because that let us know that, wow, like we're doing something where we're making a direct impact into the bottom line financially of other families, other couples, other singles across the country, and allowing them to do different things they may not have been able to do without those funds. So I definitely say, you know, success ties into legacy and the footprint that we can leave.
That's a great definition, and it is so important to help others. And I'm glad that because you have this wealth of information that I'm sure you did not know when you first started. So the fact that you guys are really big on helping others and teaching everyone else, this is what we did and this is how we did it.
Yeah.
Can you tell people about all the different products that you guys have? Because you guys have a lot of products.
Go ahead, Ronnie. I'll let you do that.
So of course we have the 4 DVDs. It started out with Happily Ever After, a positive image of Black marriage. And that's basically, you know, us talking to other couples in the community about just what they think. What's the perception of marriage in the African American community? How important was it for the fact that we had a Black president, because Obama was getting into the White House? So that was our first movie. The next one was You Saved Me, and we call that the most transparent love stories that you'll ever see on film. And we're talking to couples and we're talking to experts basically about how marriage can save you. What is it that marriage can do to benefit your life? And so we talked to about 6 couples as well as experts in that movie. And then we have Men Ain't Boys, where we talk to men from across the country about what it means to be a man. What does it mean to love your wife? What does it mean to be a father to your children? And then finally, they're Still Standing. And you talked about that previously, where we talked to 6 couples that have gone through things that break up most people, but they're still standing. And why are they still standing? And what did it take for them to not only survive those issues, but to thrive? And so all of these people have gone through the fire, and now they're on the other side, and their marriages are stronger than ever. And so that's what we want to show in Still Standing. And so from that, we have about 8 marital guides, and so they're in their ebook format and audiobook format, and they touch upon all of the major marital areas where people are challenged or maybe want to get stronger, such as communication, infidelity, unpacking your baggage, intimacy, and things of that nature. So we have 8 of those. We have our Relationship Academy. It's an online membership program, and the members that are in the program get delivered 12 trainings from some of the top experts across the country as far as relationships and marriage. And so they're giving you information that they normally charge thousands and thousands of dollars, to their clients. They're giving that to you, and so you'll every month you'll get a digital video delivered to you via email or a link to it, and also a PDF that you can work on at your own pace with your spouse. And so that's our Relationship Academy, and we have a singles version of that. And so these experts have actually pulled together information for singles. It helps them to prepare for their dating life. It helps them with communication and skills for all types of relationships, but also to be prepared for marriage as well. And so we're really proud of the Singles Academy, and we love the group that's in there now. So focused and so intentional about dating with a purpose, and about addressing some of their past hurts and learning how to forgive, so that they can be that whole person when they are able to get married. And so that's the Relationship Academy. We also have New Year, New Marriage. We're really proud of that. That is a DVD and workbook program, and that we've worked with some relationship experts, and that really focuses on building intimacy and transparency with couples. And so, did I miss any?
No, I think that's mostly it.
Yeah. So, and we have a lot more coming out. So we're just really focused on just getting those products out there and delivered into, equipped, encourage, and uplift marriages in our community. And then this year, we're coming out with a whole line of products to support entrepreneurs. And so those will be products to help people just like us build their business and to find the profit in their business. And Lamar can speak to those.
Yeah, it's besides marriage, the other thing we're really passionate about is entrepreneurship. Small business owners starting to build their businesses, and that's why I did the book, The Gatekeepers Are Gone. So we've been wanting to do this for a few years now, but we just been so tied up with Black and Married. But now that we're starting to scale the business, we have other employees and other people working in the business with us. We're able to take this time to work directly with entrepreneurs, and we'll be doing some things directly for couples that work together because they want to know, like I said, how do we work together? We'll be showing them some things, what they can do around their marriage to support the business and then the business itself. And then we'll be working directly with entrepreneurs and business owners that want to plug the leaks, I say, in their profit buckets, right? So if you can imagine your business as a bucket, most business owners have holes that's letting profit out of that bucket in multiple angles, all types of cracks and crevices. And what we want to do is show you the things that we've learned, like you talked about a minute ago. We've been through the process now where we've, paid thousands of dollars to consultants. We've learned from trial and error what works, what doesn't work. And in the process, we built an amazing business. So now that we built this business, we want to share with others how they can build the same type of business and obtain the same type of freedom, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's time freedom, whether, you want to just do the thing that you're passionate about. So many people are working a 9-to-5 that they're not really passionate about. So we want to help you get to that passion place and get those 3 Ps in your own life so you can follow your passion, discover your purpose, and then create that profit to sustain it all.
Yeah, I've attended one of your, like I said, I attended one of your webinars that was about blogging and entrepreneurship, and it was excellent. And I know that the series will be very good too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, wasn't it you that had the story about the Steve Harvey show?
No.
No? Okay, I thought somebody did. They wanted to break the internet, break his website or something. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that was another.
Yeah,
that was you?
That probably was me. Yeah. That was me. I thought you were talking about the TV show. I was like,
no. The radio show.
Yeah, the radio show. Yeah, I mean, because that was an initial thing. How we, one of the ways we started to shape the business, and a big difference in our business now is that when we first started, and everyone was talking about blogs, the whole way you monetize the blog was through advertisements and working with brands and working with ad agencies. But now we've just been blessed in a position where the main way we monetize everything we do is through our audience. We create products and services that the audience needs, and that way we're always focused on them. We're always tuned in to what do you need, what can we do better to serve you, and the better we serve the audience, money becomes a byproduct of that, and of the success of how well we serve. So how we first came to that whole revelation around products, I had a friend who was telling me what are some of my goals, and my goal at that time was to get on the Steve Harvey radio show because they were shutting down people's websites. And what that would mean, like, you get on the show, he tell everybody, hey, you know, go to this website right now, blackandmarriedwithkids.com, or, you know, whatever it would be. And then a minute later, they'd be like, okay, nobody can get to the site. Like, the site is down, it's timing out, they shut down the site, right? So my friend asked me, and I said, man, I want Steve Harvey to shut my site down. And then he was like, okay, but then what? And I was like, you know, it's going to give us a whole lot of traffic. And then he was like, okay, but, like, what happened next day? I mean, how's that going to benefit you? And I was like, well, you know, we'll make more money because we get page views. So, you know, the page views go up. Hopefully we'll keep some of those people they'll like. And he was like, okay, but after that day and the page views go up and they come back down, then what? So what he was sharing with me is basically that we need to have some type of product in place and some type of system to be able to capture those people who came to the website. So that when they come, they're not just one-time visitors, but they're people we actually can court and turn into long-time readers and then transform them from readers into customers. And in a nutshell, it's really what we do now, and it's really what we teach other entrepreneurs and bloggers and business owners, that you have to have an online portal that allows you not just to attract attention, but to actually capture that attention. And then once you capture it, you can nurture those people until they are ready to buy, until they are ready to purchase from you. And like I said, you know, really focus on serving that person, serving that audience. And then the better you serve them, the more profit and the more revenue you'll generate as a byproduct of that.
You know what? I watched that webinar and sat there and was like, I don't have a product. I'm just Ask Dr. Renee. And do you know the light bulb went off? I was so excited. I emailed like 4 people and was like, I figured it out. I know what product I can sell. I know exactly. And so I'm very excited. So hopefully this year we can get it going. But
Good.
I couldn't believe, because I mean, I think I probably watched 2 of your webinars. And by the second one, I finally figured it out. Because every time when you started saying that, I would tune out. So I was like, I don't have a product. I'm not selling any services or anything. And then it hit me, and I said, oh my God, there is something I can do.
See.
And then I told somebody that my idea, and they were like, oh, well, then you could do this, and you could grow up on this. I said, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. So I was really excited now that I finally found something, because I was like, yeah, now I can do what he was talking about.
And you know, I run into that so many times because there's so many people who have an audience online, and they've cultivated that audience. But a lot of times, people do a great job of building a tribe, of building a community, but they do a terrible job of actually monetizing that community. And again, if you can't monetize it, then most times you can't sustain it. Because at some point, it just becomes a breaking point of what you can do with your time. And your time so often needs to go where you're generating funds to sustain the rest of your actual lifestyle. So that's what it is, and that's one of really our passion points, is teaching people who have an online audience how to actually monetize that audience so that they can keep doing what they do. Because most time people do things online, that's really where their heart is, because they're doing it for no pay. They're doing it just because they love that community. They love to serve those people. So let's show you how to monetize it, so that not only can you serve those people, but you can serve 10 times more.
So any bloggers that are listening, you need to definitely follow them so that you can find out when his next webinar is. I'm telling you, they don't cost a fortune, but they are so worth it, because he really does let you into the behind the scenes of Black and Married with Kids and explain to you how to get your blog from beginning to where they are. So and it's a lot of work, of course, but it is all doable. And once you, like I said, once the light bulb goes off like it did for me, it is going to be amazing, the things that I know that I'll be able to do. We have one last question here. Go ahead. What?
I say we're looking forward to it, seeing everything that comes out.
I noticed many successful site owners are focusing attention on training others based on the years of experience they've gotten through growing. Do you have any future plans to do additional services or products beyond training, like sponsor relationships?
Yeah, you know, we're always thinking of, you know, what can we do and what's the best way to get the message out? What's the best, you know, use of our time and our expertise? So besides webinars, we'll definitely be doing live in-person events. We'll be doing some, you know, like a top-tier level of one-on-one coaching, even done-for-you services. Where people say, you know, oh, that's great, but you got the experience. I'd rather just pay you to implement it. So, you know, we'll even be doing some things on a limited basis on that level. But we'll just be thinking about the best way for us to reach as many people as possible, and sharing this information with them so we can help them plug those profit holes and really take their businesses to another level.
Well, thank you so much for this wonderful information. I just have a few last things that I like to ask. I just need you to fill in the blank with the first thing that comes to mind. Branding is?
I think it's like consistent. I mean, it's everything that you do, right? I'm not the branding expert. Let that Lamar answer that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. It's consistent. Everything you do is, what people say about you when you're not around. It's all of that.
And I mean, I know that Black American Kids started out with one logo, and then you came to the one you have now. So it was, branding. You figured out that didn't quite work, but this one works better.
Yeah. I mean, so, it's always about improving and working to, build your brand, right? Build your brand, build the way others perceive you, build the way others feel about you when they see the logo, when they hear your name, and just, those thoughts. I mean, one of the greatest compliments I get is when I answer our phone, and people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. You answered the phone." And I'm like, "Yeah, there ain't too many other people in here that's gonna answer it." So, but when people say they think we're this huge company, and they think we have, all these employees, and they think the business is so much bigger than it actually is, then that lets us know we've done our job.
And I know that in December you guys hit a milestone dollar-wise, and so that I'm sure that is going to allow you to speak to even more platforms of people, because I know you've done Blogalicious. What other conferences have you done? You've spoken at quite a few conferences.
We've done Blogalicious, we've done Evo, we've done Blog and White Brown, Hispanicize. Even though we're not Hispanic, we still got invited down and love to share with that audience, right? We did Digital Atlanta. We've talked a lot. We've been featured in entrepreneur.com. We were finalists for Black Enterprise Family Business of the Year. So we're excited about just expanding. Actually, this year in a few months, we're up for Infusionsoft Small Business Icon Award. So we'll be competing with 2 other businesses for that recognition after going in front of their conference of 4,000 people and sharing our story. They'll get to vote for us. So, just sharing the story and moving, like I said, to the next level and trying to help as many people as we can in the process.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know that there were several people that I know have been thinking about starting a blog. They were interested in listening to you guys, so I hope that they did get some information. I will include all of their information in the box below, as well as I will tell you again, lamartyler.com is the website. If you would like to get The Gatekeepers Are Gone, it is free. All you have to pay is the shipping and handling, and like I said, it's very worth it. Please get the book. But thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having
us. We enjoyed it.
And next Friday, March 6th, we're going to have Diane Valentine, the celebrity wedding planner, event designer, and she has the new Valentine cuff. Instead of carrying a bouquet of flowers, you can wear a Valentine cuff at your wedding. So we'll have her, and it's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, March 6th. So we're looking forward to that. So I hope that we motivated and inspired somebody to get off the couch and actually start typing and blogging and create your business, create a business plan. If you have to, like you said, work 2 full-time jobs, you work in the daytime and then you got to stay up all night to get it done. Get it done, because you'd be amazed how many people might need your service, whatever that service is you're providing. They might need it, they might want it, and they might pay for it, and then you can quit your day job. So I hope we motivated and inspired somebody, and if you know of anyone that has a motivational or inspirational story that you think I should speak to, please let me know. You can reach me on all social media at Ask Dr. Renee, and I will definitely post all of Ronnie and Lamar's information below, so you can reach them on Twitter and Facebook as well. They have a Facebook page, like they said, 400-something thousand likes. So I look forward to talking to you guys again next Friday with Diane Valentine. All the brides-to-be, please join us. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.